What is up, you guys? Hope you guys are doing well. We are in week 3 of remote learning, and we're going to kind of dive right on in, okay? We are going to pick up in our book on page 22, okay? Number 22. Now, last week we were talking about 6-8, and we're going to do a little bit more of that stuff this week. However, what we're going to be working on to start with is number 107, and that is called a chromatic scale. Now, we've talked about enharmonics, okay, and going up by sharps, down by flats, and all that good stuff, and how two notes that sound the same but and are played the same, but they are spelled differently. Now, whenever we are going up by half steps or coming down by half steps, that is called a chromatic scale, okay? Now, if you remember that little line that we drew out where I did, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we put, A sharp, B flat, same, and C sharp, D flat, same, stuff like that. Usually when you are going up a chromatic scale, okay, they use sharps, and then when they come down, they use flats. But technically, since we talked about with enharmonics, going up and down, your fingers or your hands are doing the same thing. It's just that they're reading different notes, but they sound the exact same, okay? So you can see in the first 4 measures of 107 for our chromatic scale, you're either using a natural to cancel out a flat, or you're using sharps. But then when you're coming down, you should see you're using flats, okay? And in some occasions, you might be using a natural. So chromatic scales, you hear them used all the time. It's used a lot in music, and this is the first time it's being introduced to us. So we're going to go nice and slow. The first 4 measures is going up our chromatic scale. The second 4 measures is coming down our chromatic scale. Okay? Going down. Okay, very, very important to be able to play your chromatic scale as well. So to do even more practice of your chromatic scale, we're looking at 108 technique tracks. This one is just going up by half steps, and then it comes to a half note. Then it starts 1 half step higher than measure 1 did, measure 2, and then it goes up again by half steps, and then the next measure after that follows the same pattern, and the same pattern, and then it works itself back down the same way that the first 4 measures did, okay? I know it's tedious and it's a little bit challenging, especially for clarinet players, all these chromatic fingerings, but they are important for you to be able to play, okay? Here we go, technique tracks, 108. Just going up and down. The next one, number 109, this is where you're actually going to start to hear a chromatic scale being used in a piece that you recognize, okay? Number 109 is the Habanera. This is a piece that a lot of you guys have heard. If you've seen the movie Up, it's the scene towards the beginning when old Carl is like waking up and he's really grumpy and he's coming down the stairs and everything, and with the electronic chair. And this is the song that's playing. It's been used in a lot of other stuff. It's originally from, if you see, it says from Carmen. Carmen was an opera that was written a long, long time ago, back in 1875. But it's been something that's been very, very recognizable. Now, this main theme, though, is just a chromatic scale going down. That's pretty much what it is. They change up the rhythm a little bit, which makes it a little tricky, but otherwise it's just a chromatic scale coming down. Okay? Here we go. 109, the Habanera. just a chromatic scale coming down with the rhythms changing a little bit. Okay. And the last little one that I wanted to do today is number 110, Chromatic Crescendo. Now, this is one that usually, like my other 7th grade students I made this a playing test because it's hard, but it's really, really good for them. It does a combination of practicing our chromatic scales, going up and then coming back down just a little bit, and then moving that same kind of pattern up a half step, and then going up and back down, same kind of pattern up and back down. But it's in 6/8, okay? Which makes it a little bit challenging. So remember with 6/8, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So for Chromatic Crescendo, take it really, really slow to start out. This is one, though, that I want you to take the time to really try and get it perfect because it leads into just so many other concepts, okay? Here we go. Chromatic Crescendo, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3. Okay. Now for clarinets, you'll see that you have the little L above the C sharp in measure 5. That's because they want you to use the left hand fingering for the C sharp. Because if you're trying to go from C sharp to C natural with normal fingering, your right pinky is having to do all that work, and you may accidentally play a note in between. Whereas if you keep that right pinky down for C natural, and then when you go to play C sharp, you just swap pinkies, it makes your life so much easier. That is a perfect example of where an alternate fingering using the left hand C sharp is like a lifesaver. Okay, so make sure that you're using that concept. A little bit shorter video than the others, guys, but I packed a whole lot of stuff in there. So take the time, just go at a slower tempo and work those up, but particularly make sure you get 110 to something that you can play really, really well, because it's, again, like I said before, it's going to lead into so many other concepts. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out, and I hope to see you guys soon. Love you, miss you.